So, when I say the word science, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it, textbooks, formulas, maybe a lab coat? Well, forget all that for a minute. Today, we're going to look at science as this incredible adventure, a way of seeing the world with total curiosity and a real spirit of exploration. Every huge scientific breakthrough, every single leap forward in how we understand the universe, it doesn't start with some crazy complex equation. Nope. It starts with a question. Usually a pretty simple one, sometimes a really weird one, but always a powerful question about the world we see every single day. Right? A question just like this? I mean, you've probably never even thought to ask that, but it's a real scientific puzzle hiding in plain sight. This just goes to show you that science isn't some far-off thing in a sterile lab. It's right there in your kitchen just waiting for you to get curious. And that is the absolute key right there. This isn't about acing a test or memorizing facts. It's just about letting your mind wonder. Absolutely anyone, and I mean anyone, can think like a scientist. All it really takes is to look at something, get a little curious, and just ask, why is that? Okay, so you've got this little spark of curiosity. Now what? Where do you go from there? Well, that first aha moment of wonder, that's just the starting line. It's the beginning of a journey that turns a simple question into a full-blown investigation. And this way of thinking, it really builds on itself over time. You start off just asking simple things like why and how. Then you start to realize that every answer you find just opens up even more interesting questions. And that leads to the best part, where you start figuring out how to design your own ways to find the answers. And honestly, this is the heart of the whole thing. Anybody can memorize a list of facts from a book, but the real power of science, it's in the process. It's learning how to be an active explorer, not just a passenger. It's about building the skills to go out and discover things for yourself. So how do we actually do that? How do we become these explorers? Well, there's this brilliant metaphor for this kind of thinking. It's all about keeping two very different but equally important things in balance. Check this out. On one hand, you've got the root of a tree, dug deep and holding firm in the ground. And on the other, you have a kite, just soaring and dancing freely in the sky. This is a perfect, and I mean perfect, symbol for how a great scientific mind works. Let's break that down a bit. The root part, that's all about staying grounded in reality. It's about careful observation, building on what we already know for sure, and sticking to the hard evidence. But the kite? Well, that's our imagination. That's our creativity. It's the freedom to ask what if, to dream up new possibilities, and just let our curiosity soar. And you absolutely need both. Think about it. Without the roots, your kite of an idea just drifts away with no direction. But without the kite, your roots are just stuck in the mud, never growing into anything new. It's that beautiful tension, that balance, that really drives science forward. And once you really get this mindset, this balance of roots and kite, man, the whole world just opens up. It becomes a playground of questions and puzzles to solve. The adventure can take you pretty much anywhere. I mean, your journey could start super small, diving into the hidden world of microbes. Some are our allies, totally essential for our health, while others are invaders. We have to figure out how to fight. Or maybe you zoom out a bit and you investigate the fundamental forces that control everything around us. Why a ball falls, how a car brakes, what keeps a satellite in orbit. It's all connected. And what's wild is that those exact same ideas, force, pressure, they scale way, way up. They can explain something as gentle as a summer breeze and something as terrifyingly powerful as a cyclone. And eventually, this way of thinking lets you see the biggest picture of all, that intricate, incredible web of connections that links every living thing to its environment. You start to understand how ecosystems actually work. Okay, so that all sounds pretty huge and epic, right? Microbes, ecosystems, cyclones. But let's bring it right back down to Earth. Let's bring it home. Because the best thing about this whole mindset is that you don't need a fancy multi-million-dollar lab to get started. That's right, I'm serious. Your kitchen is one of the greatest laboratories you could ever ask for. It is packed with weird materials, chemical reactions, and physical changes happening all the time. So let's go back to that Puri question and treat it like a real scientific experiment. So the trick is just to be systematic about it. First, you frame a clear question. Then you figure out your variables. What are the things you can change, like, say, how thick the dough is or the temperature of the oil? And what are the things you can measure, like, does it puff up or not? Now, the golden rule is this. You only change one thing at a time. That's how you know for sure what's causing the change you see. And of course, you write it all down. And here's the coolest part. This simple, methodical process, the one you can practice with fried dough in your kitchen, it's the exact same kind of disciplined thinking that scientists use to tackle the biggest challenges facing our entire planet. The scale is obviously different, but the core logic is identical. Our planet exists in this incredibly delicate balance. We're in this Goldilocks zone where water can be liquid, our atmosphere protects us, it's just right. And those are the conditions that have allowed this amazing, complex web of life to grow. But that balance is being affected, and here's where the kitchen connects right back to the entire globe. Just like we tried to isolate the effect of oil temperature on the Puri, climate scientists are working to isolate the effects of different variables on our atmosphere. It's the same logic. Our actions are a variable in this global experiment, for sure. But that same science is what gives us the power to understand the consequences and guide our actions toward a solution. And this really is the ultimate takeaway. These skills, observing carefully, measuring, testing your ideas one by one, they aren't just for a science fair project. They are the essential tools we're all going to need to help protect the very delicate balance that all life on this planet depends on. So, it all comes back to that first spark, doesn't it? That little question. The world is just brimming with puzzles, from the smallest thing in your kitchen to the biggest mysteries of the cosmos. All you have to do is pick one that interests you. So let your curiosity be your compass. Where is it going to take you?